So there's this thing that I hate when people do this. Um, Being brander and uh, in the past dealing with graphic design and just all sorts of different artistic, creative ways of thinking, um, it always bugs me when I hear somebody say, I can't draw. And the reason it bugs me is at one point in our lives, all of us were able to draw. Somebody could give you a piece of paper and you could create what you thought was a masterpiece. This is something that you can actually go out and find for yourself. Go find any 3 or 4 year old, ask them to draw you a picture. Unless they don't know what you're talking about, they'll be able to do it. They'll draw what they feel is an accurate depiction of what you're wanting. But at some point, this mindset escapes us. We sit there and we decide that we don't have the necessary skills or the capabilities to be able to draw. And we stop. That imagination, that imaginative part of our brains, we allow it to escape. We allow it to be taken away from us. Whether it's based off of somebody telling us that, oh, that picture wasn't any good, or we look at somebody else's and we compare what we're doing to what they've done. And what happens then is a little bit of your imagination dies at that point, if you, for lack of a better term. And it's a really sad thing that happens. But what's important is to remember that you used to have that drive. You used to have that ability to be able to do those things. It didn't matter who was in the room, what you were doing. It didn't matter if you had a pencil, a crayon, a marker, a pen, anything. You were able to create what you thought was a masterpiece. I feel like we need to get that back a little bit in our lives. And I think some of that's based off of fear. And that fear drives us or prevents us from being able to do something. And I was thinking a little bit about this last week. I attended a funeral, and as I went to this funeral and was listening to the life sketch of the individual that passed away, it just got me thinking about all the things that when we were younger, we weren't afraid to do anything. But as we get older, we tend to be afraid to do or start or try anything. We think we're destined to fail. We think as soon as we start something, it's going to be a huge failure. Or somebody comes along and they have in their mind what needs to happen for it to be a success. And they try telling you, oh, if you only have these results, then you're not getting the results that you should be. You need to be getting higher. You need to be getting better. You're not succeeding. But what a lot of times we fail to realize is if we weren't even trying, you definitely wouldn't be succeeding then. But by trying, you are succeeding to a certain level. We can always try to be better. We can always try to do better. But just like I was talking about earlier with the drawing, if you don't pick up the pencil, you'll never know whether or not you can draw. And so we need to be able to regain that fearlessness we had in our youth. I remember as a kid, I would jump off of a garage. My brother and I, we would do this, and for some reason, some strange reason, we thought it was fun. And now, just the idea of my kids doing that, right? It scares me, medical bills, and I'm going to have to take them to the doctor and all these things. But as a kid, you don't worry about that. You don't fear those things. Maybe it's because you don't know about it. And what's odd is, as adults, the fear of the unknown stops us. But as kids, the ignorance of the unknown causes us to go forward. You need to determine what is holding you back. You need to stop focusing on the fear. You need to realize that the fear is just there, and the fear is there, and it's just a mindset. I heard recently that humans in general are very optimistic. If we weren't, our caveman ancestors never would have exited the caves because they would have been too afraid of what was out there. but they would leave optimistic of what they'd be able to find. And you can go through all history of people being optimistic of what they can do. When it comes to your brand and your business, don't be afraid. Move forward cautiously, but don't be afraid. Find what you need to be able to get the momentum, the energy, and the excitement that you had as a child to be able to get out there and do what you need to. Determine what you need to have happen so that you feel you're a success. There's companies out there all over the place that make $1 million, $10 million, $1 billion, or $1 trillion, and compared to them, any other business might be a failure. But they're still striving as well. No matter how much money they get, they're still striving. They're still pushing for more. We need to do that. We need to find that drive. We need to find that determination so that we can push for more and so we can stop being afraid. And as we do this, we'll feel adventurous. We'll be able to feel like we can take anything on. And you'll find out that nothing can come up with your brand that you can't conquer. I hope this week, especially at the beginning of the year, that you're able to find the drive that you need to, so that way it can carry you through for the whole year. Determine what you're going to do when fear comes up, so that way you know how to conquer it, how you can overcome that fear, and don't allow the fear to stop you from being able to draw. We'll see you next week. Let's make your brand better.